So, it's another week, which means another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cast member is involved in rumours about their potential return to Marvel or the MCU, and this week we're talking about Gregg alluding to his potential return as Philip J. Coulson. He actually made an Instagram story post about it that is spreading through the Marvel S.H.I.E.L.D. fandom like wildfire at the moment, and people are talking about it. So welcome back to another episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Explained. I know I'm a few days late on this rumour, but in this video I'll be discussing the post, the rumour, how likely it is, and why the reasons that this may not actually be what everybody thinks it is. Also, reminder to subscribe if you're not already. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos hit the channel every week or two. I'm actually about to start a rewatch of the show completely as one of my friends is going through it for the first time. So when I'm going through it, expect an uptick in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos to increase. But if you are subscribed, then a like or a share would be really appreciated. Anyway, on Saturday night just gone, which was the 8th of March, technically the 9th of March Sunday in Ireland, but it went up during the night. So it was Gregg posting an image of himself from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, Episode 1. The episode was The New Deal. Posted on his Instagram story. The image is the LMD version of Coulson in 1930s New York, right after the team time traveled there and before they meet Roosevelt. And Clark posted a caption beside it that said, "Let's go," which does kind of give the implication that this isn't just him reminiscing about the past, and is more so him teasing or looking forward to something, and this naturally and understandably has everyone straight away being like, holy shit, Gregg's coming back, Coulson's coming back. And I mean, he never really hyped up his what if appearances, so maybe this is live action, maybe this is substantial, because for anyone who isn't super up to date on Marvel or the MCU, Gregg did reappear very recently as Phil Coulson in an episode of What If Season 3, which only aired in December of 2024, so like 3 months ago-ish, but it wasn't our Coulson, it was a variant from another universe. But really quick, I'm going to talk about why I personally don't think that this post is related to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because yes, this is a picture taken directly from Season 7 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I straight away dismissed this when I saw it posted personally, because it was just when everyone else started talking about it that I was like, okay, maybe this deserves more scrutinizing than I've originally thought it would. Like when I saw it, I just straight away was like, that doesn't mean anything. Like that's not S.H.I.E.L.D. related. Yes, it's a picture from S.H.I.E.L.D., but it doesn't seem like something he would post if he was coming back to Marvel. But everybody else seemed to disagree, and everybody else was talking about it, and I saw a lot of people on like Reddit and stuff like that commenting, saying like, oh, this definitely means he's coming back in Marvel in some form going forward, maybe not in a big role, but he's definitely returning. And I mean, like, yes, I think this deserved to be talked about, like people should be talking about this because it's pretty cool, but I don't think this is Marvel or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. related, because straight away when this was uploaded, I wondered if this was related to like Will Trent Season 3, which it isn't. I was completely wrong in my assumption there, but Will Trent character is dressed very similar to this. I actually watched the first few episodes of that show when it came out and didn't continue, but do want to because in Season 2, both Gregg and Brett Dalton joined the show. Super quick editing side note. Brett Dalton is not in fact in the show. He is in another currently airing American police procedural where he plays a character named Mark Trent. So my wires got crossed somewhere in my information. I saw people talking about Brett Dalton playing a Trent character on Twitter, and I was like, oh shit, Brett Dalton's in Will Trent. He's not. My bad. But Season 3 is like halfway through at the moment, so I had no idea if Gregg was still on the show or not, but when this came up, I was like, that looks like a Will Trent character and how they would dress. I wonder if this is related to just him teasing him coming back to Will Trent or something like that. So my friend Darren texted me about the Gregg post on Saturday night, and I just straight away went to him like, yeah, look, I don't think this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. related. I think this is probably for Will Trent Season 3. But also why I think this is because if he is returning as Coulson, it would make a lot more sense for him to post any other picture of him as Coulson than how he dressed in the 1930s episode, because if Coulson did come back in the main MCU, I don't think he'd look like his 1930s appearance, you know, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ran for like 130 episodes, something like that, you know, and he dressed like he did in 1930s in only one of those, or two of those, I guess, episodes. Then he came back in a 1950s episode where he dressed a little similar, but that's like 3 episodes out of what, 136 or something like that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me personally that if he's coming back as Coulson, he would post a picture from one of those 3 episodes and not from the other 120 something episodes where he dresses like a normal agent. Like, I think if Coulson comes back to the MCU or to a upcoming Marvel project, he's going to be dressed like a normal agent. So why is Gregg not posting a picture from that? So once the Will Trent stuff kind of got debunked and I was like, okay, it's definitely not Will Trent related, I was like, okay, shit, maybe this is actually Marvel related or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. related. So I did some digging just so I wouldn't be completely misinformed in this video, and I found a piece of evidence that I think pretty reasonably debunks this being S.H.I.E.L.D. related. and it's that this upcoming Wednesday, the 12th of March, Clark Gregg starts starring in a New York theatre production of Good Night and Good Luck, featuring many talented people, including George Clooney. But the setting is in the 1950s, and Clark Gregg is portraying a real-life CBS newscaster named Don Hollenbeck, who, in my very brief Googling, seems to dress kind of similar to how Clark dresses in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7. And this show seems to be running for a while. So once it starts running this Wednesday, it's going to be going for a little bit. It seems like it's going into like April or May or something like that. I'm not sure how long theatre productions usually run for, but it seems like this one's a pretty sizable production. So I think the likelihood here is that Clark is promoting his upcoming theatre show and his role in it, and wants to use something that slightly resembles the person he will be playing, and his costume during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 is maybe the closest that he has in terms of costumes he's worn in other things. But I mean, I also think that this is ambiguous enough that he wants people talking about what this potentially means. Like, he for sure could have been more clear on the caption, or he even could have posted a picture of like the name of the show, or like a picture of Don Hollenbeck alongside his Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. picture, just to clarify that this is related to his theatre show, but he did none of this. And I think because he did none of this, this is very open to interpretation, and it definitely feels like maybe this was intentional a little bit. Show Marvel that there's a bit of a desire to have Coulson back from fans, since they're right here about to start shooting the next two Avengers films, but also leave it ambiguous enough that if people call him out on it, he can say, oh, sorry, that was just meant to promote my upcoming theatre show, nothing more than that. Now, even though I mentioned all of this and feel like it's not definitively S.H.I.E.L.D. or Marvel related, there are absolutely a lot of ways that this could be teasing his return. The big thing is Avengers Doomsday starts shooting this month. I believe the film is starting filming in London, so since he's in a production in New York, might be hard to film a scene, but not impossible. Secret Wars will also be shooting in the second half of this year or early next year. I'm not entirely sure what the production schedule is looking like for those movies, so maybe it has to do with that. There are also tons of Marvel animated series in various stages of development or production or renewals, and there is a kids-oriented Iron Man show coming out pretty soon that maybe he's reprising his role as Coulson in that, which that's not out of the realm of possibility that he could be returning to Marvel as Coulson in some form of animation that's not strictly MCU related, but sort of adjacent to the MCU, because it wouldn't be the first time that Marvel has done something like this recently. Like, for example, Lawrence Fishburne, Samuel L. Jackson, and Cobie Smulders all reprised their MCU character roles in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, that animated show. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Coulson and Clark Gregg comes back in a similar thing. Like, for example, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 is supposed to come out next year. I could for sure see Coulson showing up in that, or S.H.I.E.L.D. showing up in that in some form, with a lot of the voice actors being from the MCU, so that would be cool. But despite saying this, my read of the whole thing is just that Clark is posting a costume picture that most resembles something he's going to be in, like he asked a social media manager or something to find a picture of him in the 1930s or 1940s or 1950s costume related, and posted on Instagram with a caption, and the picture that came up straight away was his look from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, if you look Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 up, one of the first pictures you get is that picture of Coulson. So it's not like it's a picture many people would have to go digging to find. But we will see. Only time will tell. Anyway, what do other people think on this potential rumor? Like, do you think it's definitely not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Marvel related, or do you think it definitely is? Did any of my evidence here seem like it's pretty conclusive in it not being S.H.I.E.L.D. related, or do people still think that, you know, despite him being in a theater show soon, that there's still a chance this is Marvel related? I will say Coulson has returned on and off again since he died in the Avengers one, died. So it's not like him returning is this huge big thing. He shows up pretty often. I feel like, you know, it's not crazy that he would come back in something, but it also is fun to see him again. I'm all over the place with YouTube videos at the moment. I had so many things planned. I recorded a Daredevil Born Again review, and the audio on it was terrible. I used the wrong mic, completely forgetting, and it was just unusable when I went to edit it. So I'm thinking of just waiting till episode 3 comes out this week and doing like a 3-episode review with all 3 of them. I'm liking the show. I've got some major criticisms with it. I think my expectations were slightly too high for what I expect from the show. It's not the original Daredevil, is pretty much my thoughts on it. Is like, it's good, but if you're going into it expecting it to be as good as the old show, it's not anywhere close to that. But it's still fun. Other stuff, I had a load of Cobra Kai videos planned that I still want to get out. And there was a Captain America ranking I wanted to do since Brave New World came out. So I think I'll still push a lot of these videos out. They're just going to feel slightly dated because a lot of the stuff should have been from February. Anyway, we'll see. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you're not already. and liking and sharing, it always helps. If you didn't enjoy this video, then I'm sorry. I'll try and do better next time. Just tell me to go fuck myself in the comments and that'll solve that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.